All right, Math 1, this is your homework help video on linear relation applications. Okay, so the very first problem is already done for you. The second one, it says, Sweets Bakery is having a sale on cupcakes. Every hour, the bakery sells 110 cupcakes, $110 cupcakes, okay? At closing, 8 hours later, how many cupcakes did the bakery sell? All right, so here we go. All right, so we have every hour. So my slope is 110. The slope is $110 of cupcakes. That's the slope. At closing, 8 hours later. All right, so for every hour is this. So my equation is going to be 110x. There's no starting amount. Okay, so zero is the starting amount. And in 8 hours, how many cupcakes were sold? So if every hour is this, we're going to say y is equal to $110 for every hour times 8 hours. Okay, so when we multiply, we type in $110 times 8 hours. And in 8 hours, $880 worth of cupcakes were sold. So it's not saying really that every cupcake costs $110. It's just saying it's $110 worth of cupcakes in an hour. Okay? So this is how many the worth of cupcakes were sold in 8 hours. Okay? Number 3. An airplane is traveling at 30,000 feet in the air. So that's where it's traveling. That's the starting amount of feet in the air. So that's going to be my B. My B is equal to 30,000 feet in the air. Okay? It descends. That means it's going down at this rate. So that's a negative 1,000 feet per second. That's a rate, negative 1,000 feet per second. That's the slope. So the equation here is y is equal to a negative 1,000. It descends this amount of feet per second, really fast, but doesn't feel fast in an airplane. X plus the 30,000. All right. They want to know how long, which one of these represents the hours. The hours is represented by X. How do I know that, Miss Reyes? Because the slope is 1,000 feet per 1 second. It's feet on the top, seconds on the bottom. Remember with slope is always y on the top, x on the bottom. Remember y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The y's are on the top, feet is y's, time is on the bottom, time is x. So this is my total amount of feet, and x is my number of hours. So I'm looking for x. So then what is the total height? If it touches the ground, then that means your height is 0. So we're going to replace y with 0 because it's on the ground. You want to be at 0. So we're going to substitute 0 for y to figure out what x is equal to, how long it took for the height to be at 0. So in order to solve for x, get rid of the 30,000 first by subtracting 30,000 on both sides. When you subtract 30,000 on both sides, this gives you a negative 30,000 on this side. Bring down the equal. You're left with the negative 1,000 x. To get x by itself, the operation that's automatically between the coefficient or a number and a variable is multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is division. So you're going to divide both sides by negative 1,000. So sorry, I had to squeeze that in there, ran out of space. So we have negative 30. I'm going to show you visually. You can see, some of you can do that part in your head, but I'm going to show you physically what that looks like. You have a negative 30,000. Make sure I got the right amount of zeros, and I do. divided by a negative 1,000. Make sure I got the right amount of zeros, and I do. And that gives me 30. So x is equal to 30. So it takes 30 seconds to get to the ground. So x here is equal to a positive 30. It takes 30 seconds to get to the ground. Okay. Now we're going to do number 4. All right. We have Rebecca buys one pair of jeans. So we know that she's going to only buy, he or she is only going to buy one pair of jeans for $35. So we automatically are going to pay the $35 for the jeans. That's my starting amount because you're only buying one. Okay. And t-shirts, plural. Notice how it says t-shirts is plural. $12 per shirt. Okay, so M here is going to be 12 per shirt. That's my slope because I'm buying multiple shirts. So it's $12 for every one shirt. Remember, we talked about slope. Y is on the top, X is on the bottom. So Y is the total amount, and X is the number of shirts. Okay, so when we write this as an equation, we have the total amount is equal to $12 per shirt times how many shirts there are. Okay, because it's $12 for every shirt. Plus, you automatically are going to pay the $35. Okay, it says if she spends $95, so that's the total. Okay, how many t-shirts? So we're looking for what X is equal to. Remember, X is the number of shirts, Y is the total cost, X is the number of shirts. Y is on the top, X is on the bottom. So now we're going to substitute 95, the total amount Y, in the place of Y. 95 in the place of Y. Now we're solving for X. How many shirts? So to solve for X by itself, we're going to subtract 35 first. When we subtract 35, we're going to say 95. Some of you can do that in your head, but let's subtract 95 minus the 35. Okay? And that gives us 60 here. So we have 60, bring down the equal. Hey, sweetheart, 12x. Okay? So now we are going to get rid of the 12. The operation between 12 and x is multiplication. We're going to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. And some of you can do that in your head. 60 divided by 12 is equal to 5. So how many shirts did she buy? He or she bought 5 shirts. Okay? All right, you should be able to do the rest of the problems on your own. Do not forget, helpful hint with number 5. Online streaming service charges a $15 sign-up fee. You automatically have to pay the $15. So that's your B. And it's $8.95 per month. That is your slope. $8.95 per month, per 1 month. So the number of months is X, the total cost is Y. Y on the top, X on the bottom. Y is equal to $8.95 X plus the 15. Okay? How much will 1 year of service cost? Remember, if X represents the number of months, then that means that X is going to be equal to 12. There are 12 months in a year. So we're going to replace X with 12. We're going to use, y'all. We're going to use order of operations to find the value of Y. Okay, so that gives you helpful hints as to how to complete the rest of your homework. If you have any further questions, please make sure that you ask me tomorrow. Have a good one.